Here for the SVRA and the Trans Am Series are second to none for the program that they run and how much action that you do get on the track and how smoothly everything goes. So great racing all the way around and always love being here at these events, these speed tour weekends.
Well, still got you here. You've seen all the cars, you've been around, you've driven many of them, you're still at the height of your powers in terms of Trans Am. But if you were to be coaxed into a historic run, what would you like to run?
Oh, it's the historic stuff it's tricky, right? I would do any of the old Formula One cars are obviously something you want to get behind the wheel of. I'll be honest, you see like some of the cars that I never got to drive that I thought were just amazing, and they were at a point in my career that would have been fantastic for me to have that opportunity. But like the Audi R8 prototypes,
Yep.
Those prototypes, I never got to drive those, and those are pretty special cars. So those would be pretty neat to be a part of. But yeah, as far as the vintage side, I really enjoy the open wheel cars and the prototypes and things of that sort. Love these little Porsches here too.
I was going to say, one of these 70s Porsches would be fun too, and just to see how the evolution of the 911 has come on. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a plethora of different cars. I'd even fancy my favorite car here this weekend is actually a modern XGT IMSA car that was once driven by Patrick Long, and it's Eric Joyner who's at the wheel this weekend. But I took a look at that car and it looks sweet.
You were telling me about that. I need to go find that car in the pack. Is that the one that they have the coffee shop up the back?
Exactly. You get your coffee and then check the car out.
What a brilliant idea that is to bring people.
Coffee's good too.
Yeah. Apparently they had a line this morning.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So our Group 12 are out on track. They're just getting underway or just getting in their warm-up lap. And you can't beat coming into Monterey, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, look at the scenery here. You leave the racetrack and nothing. It's just a beautiful place to be. Great restaurants, great people. This morning at breakfast, it was just I got to watch a soldier come home to his family.
Wow.
And see his kids for the first time in I don't know how long, and it was just a beautiful gift to see that. But love being here. It's just got a great vibe for sure.
Yeah. Nice moment as the pace car comes off. We are ready to go. And our Group 12 as they line up 2 by 2 and start to accelerate away. 2 Porsches at the front. Paul Georgeson leading Alan Wilt. Side by side into the Andretti curve. And it looks as though Paul's got the advantage on the inside. He should have anyway. I say that, but you can make the long run around the outside if you keep your foot in at Andretti, and he's done just that, but I think he's going to lose out and no, he hasn't. Through goes the 27. Well, you said it. If you get the line right and you don't lose any grip around the outside, but it can get tricky here. We heard Adrian mentioning the sand. It only needs a little bit of wind back they come again, and another spinner this time. That's the 36 of Karen Holmes in the wrong way round at the moment. Look at this, side by side. And through goes Alan Wilt. But like you said, if you go offline, that's fine. There's plenty of room, but you just don't know what's out there, right?
Exactly. I mean, these cats are racing like it's a warm-up lap every time. They're side by side around everywhere. They were dropping wheels off of turn number 3 there, and had one spin with Karen. So these drivers here, they're leaving nothing on the table, right? This is for all the marbles.
Absolutely. Great stuff, and we are well underway at the corkscrew. They're still going at it. We've got about a 7-way battle with BMWs and Porsches. One open car. And there's looks like a Shelby in there. Let's have a look at what we've got in front of us as they head down the hill for the first time and starting to spread out now. And still that battle goes on. Wilt leads from Gorgeson and Merrill. Ross Merrill in 3rd position. Bruce Wing in 4th. Richard Cecil in 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, they can pick up a little bit of a draft on that front straightaway, getting into the Andretti hairpin, turn 1 there, or turn 2, excuse me, and almost made a pass out of it. But yeah, these little Porsches all up front.
What is it about not only the history of the 911, but what makes this such a race car? Everybody talks about the mid-engine Porsche being the perfect kind of car to race, but why do you think?
It's just so efficient, right? You don't lose power through the drivetrain because it's all right It doesn't have to travel to the drivetrain to get anywhere. The shape of it, the shape of the car is about as an efficient shape as you can find. It's truly a teardrop to a certain extent. It brakes. I mean, you can climb onto the brakes of a Porsche and you immediately feel the difference of anything else you've ever climbed onto heavy braking on.
Right.
That they have got the geometry, the suspension. I don't know why, but they hunker down. They drive so well.
Well, somebody's parked it out there, but down the corkscrew come the leaders. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Stuttgart manufacture will go down in history. I mean, they broke the mold when they invented this car, and it hasn't changed that dramatically in 40, 50 years.
No, my car owner always jokes that you can measure the rear quarter window of a Porsche from the 60s and from the ones nowadays, and it's the same dimensions.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know of another manufacturer that has managed to keep that stability and shape, and like you say, that sort of teardrop distinctive shape, and it's still that way today.
Yeah, it's again, it comes down to just the efficiency, right? And they're really gotta love the Germans in that aspect.
Yes.
If it ain't broke, they definitely don't fix it.
Yep.
And that shape is not broke by any means. They've only made it always better, and it's always. Porsche is always a manufacturer that you have to beat.
Yeah.
No matter what, if they're racing and they're in your class, you have to beat them.
And when you think about the Pan America, the Cayenne, the Cayman, I mean, they're not frightened to move away from it.
No.
But they've just kept that 911 and from a Boxer to a 911 to a whatever. We've got a caution, so we'll slow things down and talk a little bit more if we can. But 10 minutes to go in this one, so we've got a car stuck up at the top of the hill. I think that's the reason.
Yeah, it looked like someone was stuck at the top of the corkscrew there. So that's not a good place to be. It's blind. You approach it completely blind, and you certainly don't want to be racing side by side with somebody coming up to there.
It's interesting if somebody says to me, what would you like in terms of, just talking Porsches now, what would you like as a year? And I always say, and I don't know because I've not driven one, but in 1972, which is the car leading at the moment, Porsche 911, would be my sort of dream car in terms of, wheeling around, not necessarily racing, but it just to me was the epitome of that shape, that size, and that classic.
Yeah, that's definitely a good choice. I don't think you go wrong with any of them, obviously.
Yeah, there's our problem.
Yeah. You want to definitely get them out of that peculiar urban area there. But yeah, it's a wonderful, it's a fun car to drive. I mean, they're just so much fun to drive. They're fun to be in. And now you're seeing there's shops out there, very reputable shops out there that take a 70s, 80s Porsche and they absolutely make it breathtakingly stunning. Do a lot of carbon accents to it and open up a lot of the feel inside of the car and bring back a lot of the purists to it. But yeah, they take some pretty, I wish I knew some of the names off the top of my head, some of the groups that I have found or stumbled upon when doing your thumb searches online. But really have found some beautiful, beautiful examples of classic Porsches.
So the drone takes a little bit of a respite, as we do too, as we can see that car coming off the track now, and we should get underway and get some racing in. But it is Alan Wilt in that 72 all yellow, number 27, leading the way from Paul Georgeson, who was the pole man, and he is currently in second. Bruce Wing in the 855, number 855. That's a 1980 911 SC. There's the 64 of Bill Harvey. Gray S911 1980 version. Now that's a Cobra there, the 43.
Yeah,
Mustang
43.
Cobra. That's a J.R. Smith in a 2013. And there's the 61 of William Ramsey, that purple 1973. Nice little wing on the back.
That's a neat looking car. I love this. There's so many people around the world that would put these cars in a garage, let them sit there and let them be a conversation piece. And here we are at SVRA, and they're running door to door down there into the Andretti hairpin, side by side, off the track. This is beautiful to see. Like, they're putting these cars right back in the glory days. If these cars, I truly believe, the cars do have a soul, so to speak. Not from a spiritual side, but it's a living, breathing thing in the sense it's going to take in air and breathe out exhaust. And so when you see I believe these cars are smiling. They're all so happy that their life isn't over as a race car, that they get to come out here at the racetracks and SVRA weekends. And just such a blessing that they fall under the ownership of these people that are willing to do this with them.
We've got one Mercedes out there, and I do have experience of that particular car. 190, that's a 1990. It's valve Evo 2. Not Murray at the wheel, you'll see it, there it is.
Looks like an old DTM car.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But not quite as go fast.
No, it doesn't have all the go faster parts on it, no.
DTM's getting interesting again too, as it goes through its next iteration, as it were, and looking forward to seeing them. There's some really good drivers in there, including Albon, of course, who's gone to race at DTM.
Now that's a historic car I'd like to drive.
Yeah,
a DTM of some.
Yes. Yeah.
Just what an amazing classic.
Well, you know you're getting the best that Germany can offer.
100%, and that's never a bad thing.
Nope. 6 minutes to go, the green flag waves, and we are racing again in our Group 12, and some good racing too. As down comes the BMW, holding off two hard-charging Porsches.
And very defensive there. Yeah, again, that's what I love, like it's all on the line right now.
Steve Walker there in the BMW.
Not giving an inch.
1975. And now you see that combination of curves from Andretti to turn 2, and here's turn 3 at the bottom of your screen. And what's called it has been called the Ducati Island in the past, but that lake you see there.
Yeah, so fond memories here. This is where, my Uncle Mario's career, where this was the last race, that he, for his retirement in 1994, that we've been
Was this his last?
Yeah, this was the last IndyCar race.
How'd he go?
Laguna. I believe he finished 6th or 7th.
So tell me the story of the Andretti curve.
So yeah, when Mario was here testing, this was in preparing for the 1987 season, I believe it was, and Adrian Newey, some might be familiar, was his engineer, and they had just got the car.
I did not know they worked together.
Yeah, 1 year at 87, and so
I knew he'd been in Indy, but I didn't know he'd worked with Mario.
Yeah, well, he won with Rahal, and then the year after, he switched over to Newman Haas, and then after that went back to Formula One with March.
Yeah.
But they got the Lola late. This was the way Adrian Newey told me the story, actually. They got the Lola late, and spin.
Nobody hit it.
Everyone get through. There you go, good job.
He's managed to get that back righted. That's the number 5 of Richard Cecil. Carry on in the Carrera.
Yeah, so they were here testing, and they weren't able to get a radio box in the car, so they had no radio communication with Mario. And he came here down the front straightaway, and Adrian said the car looked weird, and then they realized as he passed by, the rear wing had broken.
Oh.
And so he went into turn 1. So turn 1 back then was not, this was turn 1, but turn 2 was not the hairpin. It was a flat-out left-hand turn, and Mario went really big crash. Car parts everywhere, and Adrian goes, we rushed into the rental car, rushed over there. There's not a part left on the car. The left front was still connected and I guess still spinning in the air. Mario was peeling himself out of the car and was mad because it broke his watch. And Adrian said by far the toughest driver he's ever worked with to this day was Mario. And people, you just don't have that courage nowadays that he had. And so they redesigned the track after that because it was obviously they were carrying way too much speed. As the cars got so much faster. This track is a historic track. So it was built around an era of car that just didn't have the speed of the modern car. And as the cars got so fast in the late 80s, they had to change the configuration, and they did. It made it better, I think, for racing wise. It's the old configuration. You really had to have your courage up on up to 10 tenths all the time. Here it's definitely more technical now, and more opportunities for passing and things like that.
Well, I think Laguna also has had a great history because it's a bit like COTA in well, no, I should say Coda's a bit like Laguna. That's more a proper way of putting it. But it's managed to be a great circuit for both cars and bikes. And if you're a bike fan, and I know you are, there's been some fantastic races here on motorcycles that continues to this day in Moto America. World Superbikes, of course, coming here, but MotoGP used to come here, and it's just a real driver circuit, isn't it?
It truly is, absolutely, and absolutely the motorcycle races, as you and I share that passion for the two-wheel world, and but yeah, the motorcycle races here are second to none. I've talked to riders around here, and it's the one track that, you know, it's so hard to even go full throttle with the MotoGP bike because you just don't have the grip level, and you're always fighting something. You're going up this hill, fighting wheelie all the way up this hill, and things of that sort. But yeah, it's a true driver's track, and so is Coda. You know, like you said, it just lends to that, and that's why as a driver you really feel so accomplished when you knock it out of the park and you win a race like Rafa did today in T82, and you know, like these cats are out here doing it here. They're feeling no different. You know, you have Alan Wilt out there just really enjoying himself, and
good race though.
Absolutely, it is. These top three have made it a race of their own, and you know, he's going to have something to work with this Paul Jorgensen. I'm
guessing this will be the white flag or penultimate lap.
They're giving it, what's it? Last lap, yeah. Last lap.
So here we go then, and it's certainly not over. Alan Wilt took the lead early on, but Paul.
George coming deep, isn't he?
Coming very deep into, and so is Bruce Wing. He's very much in this as they come out of Andretti for the last time into turn 2. And let me put you in second place. Where would you make your move?
You know, after I just watched that TA2 race, I'd try and get that run out of turn 10 into turn 11 and make that go-kart pass that Rafa was talking about and just dive it to the apex and park it. And, you know, that's a go-kart pass. Racing, they call it a stop pass.
Yes.
You know, where you can get in and take that apex away.
He thought about it there.
He did. And then tell you what, there's someone driving out their mirror. Mr. Alan Wilt there is certainly getting some usage of that
good
mirror.
Drive up the hill though, did Paul. And if he's got a chance, he might have a go into the corkscrew, but that's iffy at best.
Well, I tell you, he's got the run.
He's got a run.
He's got the run, and he's in the position. He's right where he wants to be for the corkscrew. He kept himself out of the mirror. So
and he's done it.
Yeah, absolutely, he's done it.
Just got to get through. Side by side.
And then we got the Zanardi. Made the Zanardi move. Pushes him wide, and he spins. Oh, no. Keep it out of the fence. Oh, no, he recovered it.
How did he save it? Well, our drone got it perfectly. Fantastic stuff. And how on earth he's still going to make it onto the podium, I'll never know. He was sideways then.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. No, I mean, that's another dirt tracker at our miss.
Well, there's a beer talking story.
There's your turn 11 pass.
And he's going to get second.
There's your turn 11 pass.
There you go. Alan Wilt is going to win the race. There's the checkered flag, but somehow Paul Jorgensen has just nipped second place.
I mean, you're talking
inches.
Yeah, it's 18 thousandths of a second was between Paul and Bruce. What a race. What a race.